Hello everyone. So you may have seen, unless you live under a rock, that Nuno Espirito Santo got sacked as Nottingham Forest manager. Amazing job for them, obviously getting them back to Europe. They got into the Europa League by default. But he fell out with their chairman, the very controversial chairman. And it kind of made me think it was a similar sort of situation to when he left Wolves, when you look at the ins and outs of it. And then it gets to the question, which a lot of Wolves fans have been talking about. Would you take Nuno back at Wolves right now if it was offered? Get rid of Vitor Pereira, bring Nuno in. Would you do it? It's kind of split. So I'm going to go through the pros and cons. And at the end of the video, I'll try and come to a conclusion whether I actually would have him now or in the near future if things don't work out with Vitor Pereira. So, yeah, as we know, he got sacked. There's reports that he was clashing with the Nottingham Forest chairman over transfers at one point, but obviously they did pull their finger out and have a really good transfer window in the end, Nottingham Forest. And then they just clashed in general. Very controversial. Let's just say that. I don't want to go too much into it, but he's very controversial, the Forest chairman. And Nuno's obviously a strong character himself. He won't take no rubbish. And I think the Forest owner as well. Look, Nuno's tactics, counter-attacking style, sit deep, hit teams on the counter, is successful. It's proven to be successful. But I think the Forest owner has now appointed Ange, the ex-Spurs manager, obviously got sacked after winning the Europa League with Spurs. He wants more attacking football to watch at Forest. He wants to try and take that next step and, you know, not only be a team pushing for Europe and being in Europe, but actually play an attractive style doing it. Wishful thinking, because personally for me, I don't think Ange will last the season at Forest. I think it's too much of a quick change in terms of tactics change in a short period of time for it to work. But anyway, when Nuno left Wolves, as we know, got promoted, 2 brilliant seasons, 7th place, back-to-back seasons. Then it got a bit mad, didn't it? We hit the lockdown era, and at the end of that season, where we came about 13th, obviously we had the Raul Jimenez injury. We all know the story. Everything kind of went wrong. And the shock was that Nuno was leaving on mutual consent. But the truth is, a bit similar to this Forest situation, behind the scenes, Jeff Shea and Nuno were allegedly at loggerheads about transfers and about backing Nuno a little bit more. I don't think he was happy with us selling Jota the summer at the start of his last season, and he wasn't happy with the recruitment. And Jeff Shea himself wanted Wolves to play more attractive football and switch to a back four, which is very similar to what the Forest chairman wants at Forest. So we end up getting Bruno Lage in, obviously. It lasts about 3 games, and he switches back to a back 5 anyway. And as we know, we come back mid-table that season with most of the players that Nuno had created and gelled over his tenure. So yeah, very sad when Nuno left Wolves. He is still regarded as one of the best managers in Wolves history, especially in modern history with the success we had under him. He's a nice bloke. He had a real solid connection with the Wolves fans. He still does. He still does. Yes, at times, his tactics, particularly against teams at home who we were favourites against, his tactics were quite hard to watch. It was hard to break teams down. But when we played the big boys, that counter-attacking style and everybody knowing their jobs was brilliant to watch. You always fancied we could beat anyone on our day. And if it wasn't for lockdown, I think we actually would have at least got to the final of the Europa League. But obviously, as we know, that disrupted everything. And just to say, in that last season, Nuno was having personal issues. I think he was missing his family because he weren't able to visit them in Portugal and things like that. But yeah, ultimately he left because he was at loggerheads with Jeff Shea, and Jeff Shea wanted to play a different style of football. Now it begs the question, if it was offered to have Nuno back right now, would you do it? It's that old analogy, isn't it? Everyone keeps using it. Never go back to an ex. Just remember the good times. Remember when it was nice, but it ended for a reason. Something bad happened for it to end. In this case, Nuno and Jeff clashed. We wanted a new direction. But since then, obviously, since Nuno has left, it's gone down, 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 down for Wolves in trajectory in terms of positions. So a lot of Wolves fans are like, right, I'd have Nuno now. I'd have him now. Let's get the good times back. But I don't think it would be that straightforward. For me, personally, I'd want to keep Vitor Pereira. I still think he deserves a good full season. He got us out of the mess last year. If Vitor was to be sacked for whatever reason, we have a really bad time with it and they sack him, I'd have Nuno back in a heartbeat personally. But I don't think it'd be as successful as last time because he won't have the backing that he used to get off Jeff Shea and Fosun. Yes, he might set us up solidly. He might sort us out of the back a bit more. He might, tune the style. We'd have an identity, wouldn't we? Because under Nuno, we always knew exactly how we were going to play, and every single player in the squad knew exactly what their role was in each position. But, as I say, repeat myself a little bit, we haven't got the talent now than we had back then. We just haven't, have we? Let's be honest. Diogo Jota, Jimenez, Moutinho, Neves, Johnny, Doherty when he was a right wing back in the day. Obviously the centre halves, Cody, Bolly, Romain Saiss, Bennett. God, the list goes on and on. Rui Patricio. But I would, to conclude this, I would have him if Vitor Pereira got sacked. But I wouldn't get rid of Vitor Pereira to get him in. But in saying that, it wouldn't be the same, and it might actually tarnish his Wolves legacy if he was to come back and he wasn't successful. There's only a few examples I can think of where people have returned and done well. David Moyes at Everton's doing well after returning in terms of managers. There's probably other examples you can think of. Yeah, the don't go back to your ex analogy probably is the correct stance. So for what it's worth, in my opinion, I wouldn't have Nuno now if offered. I'd keep Vitor Pereira. But if Vitor did get sacked down the road, because I love him so much, I would have him, but I'd fear it won't work out and it would tarnish a legacy. But comment your thoughts. Would you want it? I see Wolves fans are very split on this. Very, very split. Please like the video. As I said, please comment your thoughts. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you for next video, everyone. Cheers.